Hello everyone, I have this absolutely beautiful SEGA Saturn. It looks absolutely like new. It has no scratches whatsoever, and I'm very lucky to have the opportunity to try to fix it. The main problem with it is when you are playing, it shuts down itself after 1 or 2 minutes of gameplay. So I think that's the symptom of a failing transistor on the power supply, and I'll open it up and see if I can fix it. Let's do it. Wow, it looks like new. Really pretty. Let's open it up. Model number, it also looks pretty much new on the inside. Look at that, almost no dust. Wow. It really feels nice to open something like this. So let's give it a quick clean and see what we have here on the power supply. We need to be careful around this because they might still hold a charge. If I turn it on or off, nothing happens. I've had one power supply with this broken transistor that when you turned on and off unplugged, it would still turn the light on during some seconds. After replacing the transistor, that problem was gone. All the caps don't look bad. So, as the first thing to do, we will disassemble the power supply and remove this transistor, replace it with a new one. Usually this is the culprit of that problem. So let's replace it and see if it fixes it. SEGA Saturn power supply only has one screw. The other thing is this plastic tab, but we need to be careful not to touch any metal pins underneath the board. So the other thing that remains to unscrew is the power connector. It's not advisable to plug in or unplug this power connector without it being screwed. Otherwise you can break the connections to the board. Okay. On this side the board looks a bit dull. This is maybe from the wave soldering process. So let's take the desoldering pump and unsolder the transistor. This is a TOP 202 YAI. Once upon a time, I bought a bag of these transistors. The more recent version, TOP 224 YN, but these came from China, and I've installed one in a power supply like this, and it blew up on my face. So these transistors, I was analyzing them on the microscope, and they are all slightly different in terms of shape on the plastic part. The metal part is very oxidized, and I think they are all fake. They were all resurfaced and laser engraved to say they are a TOP224YN. They eventually work sometime, but I had such a frightening moment with that explosion next to my face when I was measuring with a multimeter, and the transistor just blew up without me touching anything. So I know that these ones were manually resurfaced. I know they are fake. The metal is very dull and oxidized, and I don't trust them. So let's buy a new one from a reputable source. That one will cost more than 2 bags of these, but I fixed many Saturns with those ones and I know they are reliable. So let's buy a good chip. Don't be fooled by this fake Chinese stuff. Off he goes. So this is the defective part. TOP202YAI. Let's see how it shows on the tester. It will probably test good. 2 diodes. I don't know, maybe that's the way it is. Let me just check with one of these fake ones that work. Yeah, 2 diodes. Maybe it's okay. But as you can see, the comparison from the fake one with the original, you can see a big difference in color and a big difference in the chip package quality. So let's buy a new one. And so 2 days later, the new transistors came in the mail. They came from TME. Let's check them. As you can see, these parts look absolutely nice and they are equal and they have all the injection molding markings on them, so they look pretty much original. Comparing with the fake ones, they look dull. The plastic part, it's slightly different in all of them. Ones are slightly curved, like they were sanded. So yeah, these are not to trust, and these two are brand new. Each one of these, with the cost of each one of these, you could buy 2 or 3 bags of these from China. But yeah, as I've told you before, one of them exploded, so I'm not using them. So let's install an original part and test the console. Let's do it. This is very simple. You just insert it. If you want, you can put a bit of thermal paste. That's what I'll do. And then we will screw it, always taking care not to screw against the capacitor that is in the back. So I'll put some plastic between both. Usually I grab a piece of plastic like this from a blister of some kind of packaging. I put between both and I'll screw them there. So a small amount of thermal paste just to help with heat dissipation, and we put it in place put it against the heatsink, and now we will screw it. This has a very weird screwing position. Let's try to do our best not to destroy the thread and not to screw against the capacitor in the back. So you need to hold the heatsink and screw until you see the transistor sitting flush against the metal part, and we are done. For the mechanical side, now we need to go to the electrical side. So as you've watched right now, the metallic part is moving because it lost contact with the solder point. We will solder the transistor and also reinforce the soldering of this plate to hold it in place in a more strong way. So let's do it. I was using the wrong temperature on the soldering iron. That's why it was getting difficult. Sometimes when this happens, you need to add a bit of flux, and I should probably use another tip on the iron, but let's try to do it like this. And clear the space. Doesn't want to. So let's tweak it. Now it's good. Okay. I usually like to hit in the end I usually like to hit these two pins just to be sure that the solder goes away from the pin on the inside. So like this. So like this, and it's done. Let's trim away the excess leads. And clean everything with IPA. So it looks nice and shiny. from this side and from this side. Perfect to go into the console. Let's reassemble everything and test it. So now everything is back together. Let's connect it to the TV and test it. It's looking absolutely beautiful. Let's go. Yeah, and so I'm pleased to say that this SEGA Saturn is working flawlessly. The only thing that changes regarding to the original is when you turn on and off, the light won't go off immediately, it goes off slowly. So that's the only difference between the old transistor TOP202 and the new transistor TOP224. So if your SEGA Saturn works for some minutes and then shuts down itself, now you know that the problem is this transistor on the power supply. There are numerous other videos on YouTube showing you this problem. I've got the chance of doing this repair on this very pretty SEGA Saturn. It looks like new, so I wanted to show you that, both the machine and the repair. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye!